ओम सदाशिवसमारम्भां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Okay, any questions, clarifications? You had a question.
Yeah, yes, page 46
146.
in the notes, some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yes.
6, 7 or 8th line.
Page 146 or 46?
146.
Okay.
This I didn't follow. Although the Jiva Atman and Paramatman are really identical. 146 to
Yeah.
Yet the Jiva is the conditioned form of Paramatma. The pure form is only the
Witness.
So witness I understood. Sakshi, Drishta.
Yeah.
A conditioned form of Paramatman means what?
Okay. When you are saying I am a Jiva meaning a finite entity. So, is that pure Brahman?
No.
Manifest in the mind and etc.
Yeah.
Correct? So that's what they are saying, conditioned by the mind, etc.
Conditioned.
Not really conditioned, apparently conditioned. Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions, clarifications before we go ahead? Okay. All right. Okay. 151 page, that's what we are doing.
Yeah.
Now, remember Amnaya se Kriyartatva. That was our main argument. Now, the Siddhanta is showing that is not completely true even in the first section. Yeah. By showing Nishiddha Vakyas. Because Nishiddha Vakyas, that you are not supposed to do something. Where is Kriya? You are negating Kriya. And for this there is an elaborate discussion. मजा आता है. अपि च ब्रह्मणो न हन्तव्या इत्येवमादयः निवृत्तिरूपः ते न च सत्क्रिया नापि क्रिया साधनम्. Brahmano न हन्तव्या. Don't kill a Brahmana, an intellectual. An intellectual, a scholar, should not be killed. Okay. Now, there says, where is Kriya coming into the picture? No Kriya is coming, nor Kriya Sadhanam is coming into the picture. In fact, it's a negation of Kriya. Okay. Akriyarthanam upadeshe anartasya brahmanana hantavyaha ityadi nivarti upadeshanam anartatyam praptam. So if you are going to say, if there is no Kriya, that is anartakyam, then all these statements also will give an anartakyam. That means what? You can kill a Brahmana. The meaning will become that. Because these are not to be taken as valid. They are invalid. So if they are invalid, the same problem will come into the picture. No? So the same problem will come into the picture. So to avoid that, now what to do? That's the whole question. Okay. Tacha anishtam na svabhava prapta hantyartha anusarena nan shakya prapta kriyarthatum kalpitum hanana kriya nivartya udasinyam vyatarekena. So what? You may be having a desire to kill for whatever reason. Svabhava prapti. Got so irritated at this guy. Okay. He deserves to be. Okay, fine. Therefore, nan shakya praptam. Because of the nanj. Nanj means na, an, etc. Kriyartatvam kalpim, hanana kriya nivarti audasinam. Therefore, what is being presented here? Audasinam. This audasinam is different from yesterday's audasinam. Okay? Yeah. Keep quiet. Don't do anything. Don't do anything is don't do anything. Arthya. Now, remember, the meaning in Sanskrit, meaning of nanj is manifold. You have to understand that also to understand the full strength of the argument. Okay? Direct meaning is what? Abhava. Gataha nasti. What is not there? Complete nudge. It can also indicate that sadrishyam, similar. Okay? Like ikshu is sugarcane. Anikshu, not sugarcane.
It looks like
So that means what? It is not sugarcane but something similar. Maybe a bamboo, maybe a reed. Okay? Anikshu. It is not ikshu. It is not sugarcane. Then what is it? Something similar.
Sadrishyam.
Sadrishyam. That is one meaning. Then, tad anyatvam. Agataha. Agataha means not a pot, but not similarity. Something else, maybe pataha, maybe something else. Therefore, you have abhavartha, sadrishyartha, anyartha, something else, agataha. Okay? Tad alpata. Okay? Like when you say alavanam, you use that in English also. Arey, salt nahi hai. Salt nahi hai means not enough, you want a bit more. Alpata is used in the sense of less. When a food is served in the hotel or at home and you say, hey, there is no salt. You don't mean there is no salt at all. Generally it means less salt. Therefore, alpata. Okay. Then, aprashastya. It is not to be done here. It may be a good action, but in not time and place for it. Okay? Not time and place for it. Aprashastya. Don't do it now. I want to start praying. Hey, you are in a party now. Abhi jaake pray mat kar. Baat ghar mein jaake karna. Aprashastya. Praying is good. Because we are not like people who want to do it on the middle of the road. Aprashastya. Yeah. We are not saying what you are doing is bad, but it is inappropriate here. That's all. Aprashastya. Or opposite. Adharma. Adharma is not absence of dharma, it's opposite of dharma. So all these meanings are included. Here, in this context, two meanings are important. One is negation, abhava. The other is exclusion. Huh? No, exclusion. Anikshuhu, not ikshu, but something else. Now, huh? Yeah, something else. Now look at it. If you are saying Brahmanaha na hantavyaha, that's the statement. That na is going with whom, what? If the na is going with kartavyam, hanana kriya na kartavyam, hananam na kartavyam, it becomes what? Nisheda. Complete. Hanana na kartavyam. If it says, now to avoid this negation, supposing you say, ahananam kartavyam. Ahananam. Not killing. Not killing is to be done. Killing is not to be done is complete negation, isn't it? Killing is not to be done is complete negation. Whereas ahananam, non-killing is to be done. That means what?
Kriya.
पकड़ के जरा धुलाए और जरा give him a nice pasting. That's acceptable.
Anyatvam.
No, anyatvam. It becomes exclusion.
But Swamiji, can I ask a question here? Also, Brahmano na hantavyaha. So that means others can be killed. Not only Brahman has.
Yeah, that also comes to it. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a special statement. Okay, Hananam na kartavyam is one common statement for ahimsa, based on ahimsa. Then here specifically Brahmana is said because it's intellectual. Intellectuals are important in a society. Therefore, for greater emphasis, they are saying Brahmana na hantavyam.
But basically it means that unless required, the killing has not to be done. For a soldier, it may be justified.
Not necessarily. Even there they say, if it's an intellectual, let him be. Because an intellectual is not a soldier. You're not supposed to kill non-combatants. Now, collateral damage happens, that's a different thing. In a bombing, collateral damage can happen, that's a different thing.
So Swamiji, this Bali thing happens in many temples, like we just went to
One second. We are now restricting it to Brahmanana Antavya. Bali is separate. It is showing that ahimsa is not absolute. There are exceptions. Shastric exceptions exist. Yeah. And even for that, if you want to do a Bali, there are alternates to Bali also if ahimsa is that strong for you. Cut a lemon, cut a bhopla, things like that are available. So, because it depends upon the type of deity you invoke. Yeah. And the type of karma you are doing. From I think Thursday. Yeah. Navratri is starting. Go to Shankar Matam. In some of the pujas, you will find they cut a bhopla. Especially last day you will find that. Why? It's supposed to be Bali, but instead of an animal or something, you are cutting a bhopla. That's it. So alternates are available. But here it is specific. Okay? Brahmanaha na hantavya. So it is not now to say some kriya is there, you are using exclusion. That goes against the spirit of what is being said. So it has to be directly connected to hanana kriya. Not ahananam kartavyam. Okay. Hananam na kartavyam. So by shifting the nakara to kartavyam, you are negating all actions. Leave that guy alone. Be udasina, indifferent to that guy. You feel like whacking that guy, be indifferent. Na kartavyam. Whereas if you say shift that nakara to hananam, ahananam kartavyam, it means other than killing you can do everything else. Thrash him to an inch of his life.
Don't keep
But Swamiji, not doing is also kriya only, no? Because we
How?
say kartum, akartum or anyatha.
One second. That is not kriya, that is choice. When you say kartavyam, akartavyam, kartam shakyam, akartam shakyam, anyatava kartam shakyam, there it is in your choice with respect to an action. So your choice with respect to an action is not doing it also. No? So when I am saying I am not doing it, na kartavyam, where is the action there? I am choosing not to do. Where is the action? You are making a choice, true, but is there an action backing up that choice? I choose not to do it. Nahi karne ka mere ko. Finished. Job over.
But it implies that there will be no action.
Yeah, it implies there is no action, exactly. Audasinyam. That's why he is presenting here as Audasinyam. As I said, different from the Audasinyam we saw yesterday. Okay. So, the question is, you are not doing anything. Therefore, in this case, a Pratishiddha Vakya is negating karma. It is not proposing a karma. Any other same thing. Suram na pibet, same thing. Don't drink alcohol. Alcohol should not be drunk. Anything else you can have. Alcohol should not be drunk. Therefore, with respect to alcohol, uddasina. Kalanjam na bakshayet. Contaminated food you should not eat. Generally translated as meat. Okay. Don't eat. So, in all these cases, audasinam is what is presented. Meaning absence of action. You are refrained from doing an action. Why? To do that, why is Pratisheda necessary at all? Because for some other chodana you may be doing it. Chodana comes from the Veda, it can come from your desires also, no? This character has been bugging you for a long time. He's an intellectual, but he's bugging you for a long time. Therefore, feel like finishing that guy off. The chodana comes from different places. Na kartavyam. Pratisheda. Suram na pibet. Arey yaar, ek big man nahi. One small. You should go to Kerala. This one small becomes very important. All Mallus are that. Okay, one small. The problem is it doesn't stop with one small. Therefore, the Shastra says Suram na pibet. Suram na pibet. It is negating. Pratishuddha Vakya. Negation any action which you may have a chodana for because of various reasons. The chodana can come from anywhere. Your desire is a chodana. Yeah. Kalanjam na bakshiyat. But kalanjam always is attractive. Kalanjam also means contaminated food. Street food festivals. Then you say stomach upset.
But that's the tastiest.
That's the tastiest. So there's a natural chodana for all these things. Therefore he says don't do it.
So Swami, does it work at action level or it does also work at the thought level? Like, when we have the feelings and the thinking.
Yeah.
We don't do it because the law, society, whatever.
So Dhamma, so it's a lack of action is connected with Dhamma. It is not saying don't have the desire. It recognizes the fact you have the desire and then negating it. Yeah. See, if there was no desire, if I did not have a desire to whack somebody at all, then why should the Shastra come and tell me Brahmanana hantavya? No, desire hai nahi mere mein. But we are human beings. We have all these desires. Therefore, a Pratishuddha Vakya is necessary. A Pratishuddha Vakya becomes necessary because as human beings we have such type of desires, urges. It's okay, no problems. By the way, other than Brahmana Hatya, all others are considered minor, okay? Not to be taken too seriously. Brahmana Hatya, killing is anyway taken seriously. Okay. But there is a huge difference between killing a human being and killing a goat. One has to recognize that. No? You may be an animal lover, therefore you will take it more seriously. Fair enough. Someone is not. Therefore they won't take it that seriously. Yeah. So that variations will happen. Yeah. If you are taking kalanjam as contaminated food, tell me in today's world, how many people are going to listen to that? Street food. Yeah.
Even food we keep in the fridge is not in this.
Yeah. They say food should be fresh and hot. Yeah. So you heat it up again and take it. That's a compromise thing that you are reached. Yeah. You are allowed to wake it up once. See this question again. Yata, yamam, etc. It is said, Yata, yama means 3 hours have passed, then you can't. That was the time when refrigeration, etc. was not there. Therefore, it could get contaminated. It could deteriorate. It is not fresh. Yeah. Now the whole situation has changed. Yeah. Tropical country. Yeah. But with refrigeration, the whole thing has changed. Then you can go into a whole discussion how healthy, unhealthy. Then it becomes a question of food, not a question of vidhi pratisheda. Yeah. Therefore, many of these are also have to be understood in a context. That's why we don't blindly say ahimso paramo dharma. That's only one half. Dharmo himsa tataiva cha. That completes it. Because nothing, and you say nothing, even nothing, can be taken as absolute. You just cannot take it as absolute. Not done. No dharma, no value can be taken as absolute. They are universal but relative in application. So there was a time, even now, where killing as a pleasure was allowed. All forests under the king was considered reserved forests. Therefore, no hunting, etc. was allowed. But royalty, king, soldiers, etc. were asked to hunt. Two reasons. One, culling was necessary. Otherwise, animal population will become so huge they'll outrun human population, will become a big issue. Imbalance in this. Number two, how do you like the prince leading his army in battle? And the sight of blood he faints. The very sight of blood he faints. Yeah, there are people like that. I had a cousin who wanted to be a doctor. So before he got admission, he asked a friend of mine him to go and see a surgery, etc. It was something minor, they allowed him inside with a mask. One spurt of blood, the guy was fainted inside. Now what do? You can't afford a prince feeling like that, fainting like that in battlefield. Therefore, certain amount of hunting, etc. was allowed because it's not easy to kill. And as a soldier, as a prince, you may have to kill. Yeah.
We have all fainted once.
Beg your pardon?
We have all fainted once in the anatomy room.
Yeah, I know. With my cousin, the other way it did not happen. Climbed a tree to harvest some jackfruit. So I said, I'll do it. He says, no. His cousin of mine is about 3-4 years older than me. I must have been 12 or something, 13 or something like that. He's older. So he went up and but in the process of cutting the thing, he cut his hand a bit and blood. Now you can't look there. He's holding on to the tree, otherwise he'll faint right there. Then I had to climb up and get him down also. I could have harvested Aram and come down. Now I had to do both, get him down. So you can't afford to have these things in battlefield, Therefore, some amount of this was allowed. Therefore, there is no rule made by God or man that does not have exceptions. But here we are looking at Pratisheda Vakya. Pratisheda Vakya is complete negation, not excluding. There are places where the exclusion works. Nobody says no to that. Okay? There are places where exclusion is involved. But in Pratisheda Vakyas, it's complete negation.
Swamiji, here Brahmana, you don't take it as a Varna, like Brahmana Kshatriya, you don't take it.
You can take it as that also if you want in this chapter. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Assuming that Brahmanas are intellectuals.
No, I mean, I'm just
Here
because
it's
I'm
broader.
during those.
See, we normally take it as broader. In olden days, there was some sort of a structure. So, Varnashrama dharmas were there. Therefore, all Brahmanas were scholars. See, if you are looking at Varnashrama dharma, then all this thing naturally followed their dharma. Na? If they followed their dharma, then automatically they were scholars.
Or Swamiji, there were carriers of Vedas also that time. It was supposed to be, isn't it?
Yeah, so they were supposed to be scholars.
Carriers of Vedas. They had Vedas Kantastha.
They had?
At that time. They had it. They could memorize. They memorized it. So they could.
It is not only memorizing. It is more than memorizing. When you do that, memorizing was only a small sect of people who were treated as walking CD-ROMs. So that is a small group. Most of them did the Mimamsa, this, that. They were scholarly.
Yeah.
They studied Tarka, they studied this. So they were scholarly people. Yeah. So that's why I'm using a more broader definition to apply in modern world also. Anyone who is scholarly is considered a Brahmana.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Like Rama killed Ravana, who was Brahmana.
Yeah.
So though there is Pratisheda Vakya, there is always again a choice, like whether
Exactly.
to do your duty for higher dharma or
Yeah,
whether
agree.
to.
That's why I'm saying there's no there are always exceptions. There are always exceptions. Yeah.
So it will relatively.
Yeah. Any rule that you make is like that. That's why Puja Swamiji always use the statement. There is no rule made by God or man that does not have exceptions. Which is true. So, but here we are looking at what is a Pratisheda Vakya doing. A Pratisheda Vakya is negating karma, not propounding karma. A Pratisheda Vakya negates karma, it is not karma sadhanam. It is not listing samagris, etc. That means what? If you are going to take anarthakyam, then all Pratisheda Vakyas will become anarthakyam, not valid. Then none of your Pratishedas will be valid. So, then you have a problem. If you are pushing your rule of interpretation too far, you'll have a problem right there. In the first section itself, you'll have a problem. Okay, that is the whole idea. Okay.
So meaning,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
could you just elaborate on this, that anarthak is amna
It's
is
a kriyartatva. Yeah. Amnaya meaning Veda.
yeah.
And
but
since
what
the
asking is like how that if you push it further, in all the pratishedha vakyas become anarthakyam. Like how? Like I'm not very clear on.
Okay, I'll clarify that further. Look at it. The statement says amnayasya kriyartatva because it is meant for action. Anything that is there that is not meant for action will be useless, anarthakya, purposeless. So, sometimes there is a story, sometimes there is a list given. Havis, barley, etc. is mentioned. So, all of them are mentioned as sadhanas, ghee, all that. And the ghee has to be looked at by the Yajamana's wife as purification. Meaning she is confirming it is pure. Okay. So all these are all part of karma. Okay. Sometimes there is a story. Agni wanted to go somewhere, but all the other devatas stopped him. So in frustration he had tears in his eyes, and the tears fell on the earth and they became silver. What is the story got to do with this? Hey, that's an arthavada. Exaggeration or criticism to highlight something. What is it highlighting? That in this particular yaga, you cannot give silver as dakshina. You can give gold, you can give copper, but not silver. So, in this manner, you are connecting all the vakyas in the Veda to some karma or the other. Correct? Therefore, any other statement will have anarthakya. You purposeless. They will become purposeless. Now, the Siddhanti, the Vedantin is saying, what about Pratisheta Vakyas? They are not exclusion, they are negation. If they are exclusion, you can say there is some karma involved. Ahananam kuryat. Brahmana ahananam kuryat. Okay. You are allowed to beat him, so it is suggested that you beat him. You can say some karma is involved. No, here is negation. Don't touch him. Hananam na kurya. Yeah. Therefore, audasinam is absence of karma is highlighted here. All pratisheda vakyas highlight absence of karma. Yeah. Suram na pibe, don't drink alcohol. Can I drink something else? That is not nishiddham. That's not nishiddham. But that is not connected with the vakya. Because suram na pibet, The same Vakya is not saying you can have lemonade.
Ask someone else to make you drink. You yourself.
I won't drink it. Someone पिला दो तो क्या करूँ ना.
So basically here we are only trying to establish that just because there is no action in that statement, it doesn't become purposeless. So
Exactly.
that
means the rule of interpretation should not be pushed too far.
too far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's a general rule of interpretation, it has to be kept general.
Okay.
Don't push it too far because then you will have this problem. Yeah. Because it's a negation of a karma. It is not enjoining karma, nor is it karma sadhanam, nor arthavada connected to karma. It's not karma sadhanam, nor arthavada. Even that is not there.
So
Because
Swamiji,
clear
they're
negation.
trying
Yeah?
So no statement made in the Veda is purposeless. Like everything is trying
Yeah.
to say
So
something.
if everything has to be purposeful, then how will you have to make this statement also purposeful. So if you over push the kriyartha form, then all these will become purposeless. That's why that udasinam is highlighted. Not refraining from an action. यार नहीं करेगा कुछ. मस्तराम बाबा के बढ़ जाएगा. Okay, that's the whole thing. That the whole idea is that. प्राप्तुं क्रियार्थं कल्पयितुं हनन क्रिया निवर्त्यर्थ औदासीन व्यतिरेकेन. Therefore, औदासीन व्यतिरेकेन. Other than this, what meaning are you going to give it? न हननं न कर्तव्यं. ब्राह्मणं न हन्तव्यं. नञ्जस्य एषः स्वभावः. This is the swabhava of nanj, he says, of the nakara that's coming in. Yet swasambandhinaha abhavam bodheti iti. That is, whatever is connected to nanj, tasya abhavam shobhayati. It's revealing the abhava of that thing. That's the first meaning. Everything else is connected, this thing, as partial nanjas. Main nanjas, no bhava. अभाव बुद्धिश्च औदासीन्ये कारणम. अभाव बुद्धि is औदासीन्यस्य कारणम. Hey, there's some sweets in the fridge. खाएगा यार. Then the question of wanting to eat will come up, karma will come up. क्या है फ्रिज में? कुछ नहीं है. दूधी है. भोपला है. औदासीनम कारण. Correct. अभाव. Then cooking for dinner etc. वो बाद में देखेगा. Okay, we are talking of cooking. हाँ दूधी है ये कुछ है पर okay. अभाव. No visible. अभी क्या cooking? औदासीन. Are you getting the idea? अभावम औदासीन कारण. I will order. है ना? फ्रिज एम्प्टी है लेकिन ये है ना? I'll order a pizza. We have stopped delivering pizzas because of gas shortage. It's a pure manipulated thing, okay? There's no shortage. But then अभी क्या है? चुप बैठो. औदासीन. Abhava always equates to औदासीन. I'm talking about food. It's the same thing with anything else. Yeah. Why? Because fundamental nature is what? You do something to gain something. Na? There's a payoff involved. There's always a payoff involved in action. If that is not there, why will you do? If that is not there, why will you do? Even time pass activities. Or payoff is passing the time. Na? Tasya abhavam audasini.
Swamiji, explain on this. There is last paragraph on page 155.
155. Then the पहुंचे नहीं.
नहीं, this explanation of abhava buddhi, audasini.
Yeah,
It
non-existent
says
abhava,
this
which is the joint.
this cognition of non-existent leads to
indifference.
indifference.
Audasini. Because if this is not there, where is your impelling for action? चीज है ही नहीं है. You get the idea? Yeah.
Will not a man become again pravrityan mukha, intent on activity, after the abhava buddhi is destroyed?
No, because abhava buddhi, once is abhava. Like a fire dying out, it dies out. Okay. Now fresh something has to come. Okay. Fridge में देखा sweet नहीं है, औदासीन. Then fresh something came. What? I'm feeling thirsty. Then something fresh has to come to impel another action, isn't it? Feeling thirsty. So go and take some water and drink it. Are you getting the idea? So, abhava of a thing will lead to audasina. Then if something fresh comes up, that's a fresh thing again.
Oh, okay.
It's a fresh thing. Yeah. So, it is not that audasinam is over, then something. No. That's like trying to use a double negative. Audasinam is with respect to this particular thing. That's not there. No, okay. Then something fresh. You felt thirsty. That's a further chodhana coming in. Physiological chodhana coming in. Yeah. So that is fresh always. Okay. Nanja seva swabhava. Okay. Sacha dagda indana agnivats swayameva upashamyati. Once the fuel is burnt, the fire dies down. Similarly, a desire for something that is not there dies down. That desire for that action dies down. Audasina. Keep going. Good night. तस्मात् प्रसक्त क्रिया निवर्त्यर्थो उदासीनमेव ब्रह्मणा न हन्तव्यम् इत्यादिषु प्रतिषेधार्थं मन्यामहे. So therefore, what in statements like this, we have to take it as negation of the karma, not anything else. Anyatra prajapati vratadibhyaha. Now, there are other places where exclusion, etc. comes in. Prajapati vrataha, where it means something else. Okay? Don't see the rising sun when you get up. It is said in this particular. Don't see the rising sun when you get up. What do you mean by that? Get up before the rising sun. There it is exclusion. There it is exclusion. Don't sleep that late. You are supposed to get up earlier and do all the karma necessary. So get up. Don't see the rising sun. ठीक है. Now मुझे बताएगा. So contextually you will see what is excluded. Yeah. You are supposed to do this ritual early morning. That's the context. Then he says, don't see the rising sun. Oh, before that I should be up and about. Okay. Udite juhoti, anudite juhoti. Another example of exclusion. Udite juhoti. After the sun has come up, you can do the yaga. Anudite juhoti. When the sun is not yet up, you can do it. That's only exclusion. Sun is not yet up. That's used as exclusion. That is not abhavartha. That's used in the sense of exclusion. Before the sunrise also you can do it. After the sunrise also you can do it. Of course, before the sunrise, if sunrise is at 6:45, you're not even going to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and do it. or at 10 o'clock in the morning I'm going to do it. No, there is a range available. So it's giving you an option. Here again it's an exclusion, giving you an option. Whereas Brahmana hantavya, it is complete nisheda, abhava. Okay? That's why he says anyatra prajati vratebhya, etc. Okay. Tasmat purushartha anupayoga upakyanadi bhutartatvad vishyam anarthikyam abhibananam drashtavyam. That means what? Even existing things or negation of action, etc. As long as it is meaningful, as long it gives you a purushartha of avoiding a problem or gaining something good, the statement should be held as valid. Phalavat arthavatvam, what I said right in the beginning. If that is there, the statements are valid. It should give you a phalam, it should be meaningful. That's all. This is there, pramana is there. Then why did Jaimini make a sutra make a rule of interpretation like that? General. Okay. Any rule of it, again as I said, no rule made by God or man, that does not have exceptions. Therefore that's a general rule. Yeah. It is applicable only to Vidhi Vakyas, Arthavada Vakyas, okay, or Vidhi Sambandha Vakyas. Pratisheda is a negation of a vidhi, negation of a natural propensity. Therefore, they are supposed to be equally useful, because the whole Veda is vidhi pratisheda anyway. Therefore, equally useful, but it is not directly dealing with the action. In fact, it is negating an action, but still valid. Yeah, still valid. Okay. The other meanings of nunch that I gave you is not applicable here. Anikshuhu and etc. All those things are not applicable here, but I said that in the passing because good to know. That's why that in the footnote you have prasakta pratisheda is prohibition and paryudasa is exception, exclusion. Those are the only two things considered here.
So Swamiji, Advitiyam will come under what?
Which one?
Advitiyam.
Negation. No duality. And the need comes up because you experience it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's negation of duality. Yeah.
So virodha or abhava? Virodha.
Abhava. Abhavartha. Yeah. There is no dvaita. Abhavartha, not virodha. Because Advaitam and Dvaitam can't be virodhas. If they virodha, same degree of reality will come in. Exactly. Yeah. So it has to be abhava only. Yeah.
So generally, all
Yeah.
the key terms that we use in Vedanta, where nunj is used as a particle,
Yeah.
it will invariably be abhava. No?
Yeah, yeah. Predominantly it is abhavartha. Here and there will be exclusion coming in. Yeah.
Like
Right.
Anantam also will be like that.
Anantam, yeah. Antam na vidyate, yeah.
In Ajnanam it is Virodhartha,
Yeah.
not Abhava.
In Ajnana it is Virodhartha.
Not Abhava.
We'll see that. In Naishkarma Siddhi that will be elaborated, but you have to wait for the third chapter for that. But it is Virodhartha. It is not Jnana Bhava. It is Jnana Virodhi. Why Jnana Virodhi? Because negated by Jnana. If it is not negation of ignorance, then knowledge will be like what our students are famous for. Mugging up something. Therefore, on ignorance, they are superimposing information. Because the Vedanta is not an information-oriented study. It's negating the ignorance about the self. It's not getting information about some other self. Okay.
Okay, Swamiji, I
Yeah.
have a question.
Sure.
So, sorry about this question, but I just wanted to know that why are we discussing the Vedic ritual related, what is the connect like between Advaita and
What is the pramana for knowing the truth?
The Vedas. So we are trying to
Exactly.
validate both the parts.
See, remember in those all these arguments, don't get lost. What is the Brahma Sutra analyzing? The Upanishadic section, isn't it?
Upanishad.
Then why does the Veda comes in? Because the Upanishad is part of the Veda. The Pramaniam depends upon the whole Veda, is the whole Veda. And in the whole Veda there are different rules of interpretation. So the question is it applicable to the Upanishad or not applicable? Because see, it's a complete analysis of the Shastra. It's not an independent work. Like you won't find this arguments when I'm teaching, say, a text like Advaita Makaranda, where there's sheer unfolding. But here, Brahma Sutras are an analysis. Therefore, how do you interpret anything? See, the problem comes, you will have experienced it. Take a book on Vedanta and read. The author will have his own interpretation. I have looked at, for example, some 200 books on the Gita. Yeah, author has their own interpretation. How do you know that is valid or not? How do you know? That interpretation is valid or not? So the study of Brahma Sutra gives you that. Understanding what is valid and what is not valid. Limited to the first 4 sutras, yes, for the time being. But that is it. So, what is valid, what is not valid? How do you interpret? Therefore, rules of interpretation will be discussed. What gives you the right to interpret? Because it is not just literature. Otherwise, it will be like saying like this. Liberal view. After all, everyone is free for their own opinion. And the scientist comes and says, but gravity is a fact. Oh, that is your opinion. Now that is easy to prove. Take him to the window and throw him out. Let us see if it is a fact or an opinion. First floor window, so only break a hand or leg. Okay.
So, Swamiji, can we take it this way that those who believe in karma kanda, or the one who propagate this action, they also accept Upanishads and Vedanta as the part of as the whole Veda as pramana.
They accept Upanishad as a pramana, but then what is the role of the
Upanishad?
Role of the is the question that they are asking. So that is where the whole interpretation comes in. And why all this analysis? Because the technical text. Yeah. Just because a book is available doesn't mean that anyone and everyone can understand and interpret whatever is written there. That's taking a book on advanced thermodynamics and trying to interpret that. No, this is not valid. No, that is not valid. Because it's a technical book, you have the qualification to even look into it. Because nobody is denied a chance to listen to Vedanta, doesn't mean everybody can interpret it. We are not elitist, anyone can walk in, no problems. But do you have the thing to interpret? Have you studied enough to recognize and interpret? So, without the study of Brahma Sutra, there is no way you are qualified to interpret. Minimum qualification necessary to interpret is study the Brahma Sutra. And why is it taught even to people who may not become teachers? Because you will come across interpretations, and when you come across interpretation, how do you know which is right and which is not correct? What is in harmony or not in harmony? Tattu samanvaya, the sutra. You reconcile everything to a proper understanding. Because it's a technical text. It's not like reading Shakespeare or Kalidasa. Shakespeare and Kalidasa were literatures. Anyone can read it. Not the problem. Yeah. That's literature. Oh, the Vedas are the oldest literature known to humankind. It's not literature. Yeah, it is. Because it's a written down thing, you can call it literature. Nothing more than that. They are technical texts. They are technical texts. Yeah. So, interpretation, etc. counts. What are the rules and principles of interpretation? So, that is why this whole analysis. That's why we are looking into the first part of the Veda also, because it's part of the Pramana. And we are looking at it only from the standpoint of interpretation, nothing else. We are not going to the details of the first section. Why? Been there, done that. Been there, done that. We want this now. We want the spiritual part of it, not the other things. Yeah. Other things, etc. are done, taken care of. Not an issue. That's why when you are looking at the Shastra, very clear who is a proper student, who is a proper teacher, both clarified. Both clarified. Because only then it will work. That's why Yama and Kathopanishad says, Ananya Proktaha Gatiratra Nasti. If it's not spoken by Sampradaya was like that, there is no hope. Yama saying, no hope. Shotriyam Brahmanishtam, that Shotriyam includes being a Sampradaya with one who knows the methodology of teaching. Not just one who has heard the Shastra. That's a general interpretation. One who has studied the Shastra. One who has studied understood the methodology of teaching. And the methodology of teaching is not presented separately. Here and there comments are made. Why? Every dialogue represents one methodology of teaching. Sometimes more than one. So once you get there, know the truth, then you study the Brahma Sutras, known the truth, you will know, you will be a Sampradaya with. But in the way I have looked at it and what I have seen from experience is, without a few years of teaching, you don't really become a Sampradaya with. Because then you understand. I am saying something but characters are not getting it. But I am saying exactly what is written. Guys are not getting it. Why? Some adhyaropa is there which is not negated. Yeah. Some paradigm is not working. You have to drop that and use another paradigm. Their emotional things are somewhere else. That has to be dealt with. And who the student, that is also clarified. No?
Being in the exact character is also important.
Yeah. And who is the student?
Like that.
Who is the student? Viveka Vairagya Shat Sampati Mokshatam, very clearly clarified. Not that you check. Viveka hai, isko. So let us say I am taking full-time students. Couple of years I will be taking them. Check karo. Checklist. How do you check for Viveka? Viveka, possible. You can check. There are enough intellectual exercise available. Vairagya, how do you check? Though we do have some questionnaires available, but Samadama, how do you check? Titiksha can be checked. On a hot day like this, power off. How much are they crying? Titiksha can be checked. Acceptance of people, etc. Yeah, put all the Characters who can't get along with each other as roommates. So some things can be checked. Put a light sleeper with a snorer, for example. But barring these superficial things, other things can't be checked up. No?
That's torture, Swamiji.
Yeah, how do you check up titiksha? Acceptance, samadhanam, you can't take up this. So there are general ways of evaluating. So it is not elitist, but the checklist is given. Why? Okay, if you don't cultivate all this, you are not going to get it. You are not going to make it in your life. You may have an understanding, insight, but it won't be a fact of your life yet. So very clearly it is mentioned whole thing. Why? Because it's a technical text. It is not a simple literature. Though if you're doing your MA in Sanskrit literature, you will have some of the Shankara Bhashya, etc. to study. It is part of literature. No clue what they are doing. Okay, I have no clue what it is. Yeah. So, being a technical text, that analysis becomes important. Why? Because you have nothing else other than the words to reveal it. And through finite words, you are revealing the infinite.
So this
Yeah.
Shabar Bhashya, they are...
Shabara Bhashya is a Bhashya that was written on the first part of the Veda before Jaimini. Shabara Bhashya.
Okay, Jaimini.
Before Jaimini.
Not Vedanta.
No, it's not Vedanta at all. This is the first portion. Shabara Bhashya is one of the first portion. But sometimes you compare styles, Shabara Bhashya and Shankara Bhashya. So you'll still compare style. But the style comparison, it is literature coming in.
Yeah.
But sometimes you'll quote to indicate that this is from where the interpretation is coming. That's why we come across Shabara Bhashya in a couple of places. Yeah, couple of places.
It has come.
So this is the whole approach for this. Okay. Then, in the next section, you're going to hear something very, very important, which we will love. Okay. Sutam Brahmopi na avagatam Brahma. So what I said in the last bit is actually leading on to that topic. I heard about Brahman, but I don't know Brahman. How etc. all that thing comes up. Whether then if that thing happens, how is Shastra, Pramana, etc. Those questions are naturally raised. Because you don't say, I see but I don't see. Here is it, listening is what is important. I listen, both suna. कुछ पता नहीं है. Sutam Brahmopi na avagatam Brahma. Yeah, such samples will always be there. I had 2 students in my batch who proved the fact that you are changeless. They went through the whole course and what they said in the first day was the same thing they said on the last day. I'm not joking. And when you expose to someone like Puja Swami, on top of it. Hota hai? Shrutam Brahma, but na avagatam Brahma. So all that we will see, but that will be next class, okay? That's a good place to stop.
Pranam. Thank you, Swami.